Today we're going to be looking at the RainX Windscreen repair kit to sort out a stone chip in my windscreen. So the kit contains repair resin, a razor blade, curing sheets and the repair device itself, along with an instruction manual. Before you start, you will need sunshine, so make sure it's a nice sunny day before you start. The sun is for the curing agent to go off, so just make sure it is sunny before you start. You do the repair indoors and then move the car outdoors for it to cure. This is the chip here. First thing we need to do is to just clean the immediate area with some automotive glass cleaner. I'm just going to do that now, quick wipe on. So the first thing we're asked to do is to get the razor blade from the kit and to lightly scrape at an angle over the chip. This will remove any loose glass fragments, which I don't think there are any in mine, because I have had this chip quite a while. It's probably been there about 4 weeks now. And then just give that another wipe over. And then next what we're going to do is we're going to take the repair tool and we're just going to remove these top two sections, leaving us just the base. And then we're going to position the base directly over the chip, so the circle goes directly over the chip. Now you are going to have to get right over it for this, for it to be dead center. That looks good to me. The next thing we need to do is take these two parts and just unscrew them. The inner part, we can just put that to one side for now. And this outer part, this has a rubber bottom that's squishy. That needs to make contact with the chip. So we screw that in until that makes contact with the windscreen. And that needs to be directly over the centre of the chip. So we'll just go and check that from inside. So it's a little bit difficult to see, but you can see that the chip is directly underneath the rubber part of that insertion tool. The instructions now say to take the resin. You've got this little bauble on the top, so you can just twist that off and discard. And it says to take the resin and to put 3 to 6 drops, depending on the extent of the damage, into the chamber. So given that mine's a relatively small chip, I am going to put 3. And we'll see how it goes. So again, you want to be right over this so to not lose any resin. And we want to go 1, 2, 3. I'm just going to pop the lid back on. Just pop that to one side. Just checking around that rubber bottom for leaks. It does say if there's any leaks, just to tighten again by a 1/4 turn. But I can't see any leaks in there yet. And then what we're going to do is take this part, which they call the driver, and we're going to put that in and we're going to screw it in. And it says to screw it in until it's almost complete. And this will force the resin into the chip. And again, if any leaks appear whilst you do this, that you are to turn the bottom part a 1/4 turn until the leak stops. Now that has gone all the way in. So I'm just going to have a check on that from the inside again. So there aren't any leaks coming out of that, and now it says to leave for 4 to 6 minutes. So again, we'll take the longer duration, we'll leave it for 6 and we'll see what happens. Okay, so that's been 6 minutes. What it now says is to remove the impact part of the tool, which is this one here. to release any air. And then put it back in again. Take that out. Give it a little tap. And pop that back in. It says to leave for between another 4 and another 6 minutes, so we will wait for that. Okay, so that's been another 6 minutes. So what we're going to do now is remove all of this. So we're going to screw this anti-clockwise just to relieve the pressure, and then pull on these little tabs on the suction feet to remove the whole lot. Now you might get some drips, at which point you need to use an old cloth to remove them. Bear in mind this is resin, so don't use that cloth again if you're into detailing or something like that. Have a look at it for any further damage, and it says to put a drop onto it for any further damage. And then to pop on one of the curing strips. So it also says to put no pressure on that, so you can see that the product has spread, and then it says to leave that for a couple of minutes before moving the car outside into the sun. Now that the car's outside, we're going to wait, it says 5 to 10 minutes, just to wait for that resin to harden. It does say you can keep checking it by peeling the film back, and if it's still wet, replace it, and just wait until that resin hardens. Then we'll move the truck back inside, and we'll scrape off the excess. So the chip's been outside, baking under the sun for more than 10 minutes. I have left it for well over 2 hours. I'm hoping that that will give it a better curing time. Now what we're going to do is we're going to use the razor blade, and we're going to start to scrape off this excess material, and we're going to use it at an angle like this and just take it off a little bit at a time. So I'm going to crack on with that now. Okay, so very, very close up at what we've got left. This is now probably a 2mm chip, and there's no crack at all behind that now, that's all gone. So this does look to me very much like surface damage now, so I'm going to reapply this, so it is getting better, but I'm just going to have another go at it. Okay, so this time I'm only going to use the resin and the sheet, the curing sheet. So I'm just going to put a blob in the middle of that, and then put the curing sheet on it again, and again we're going to leave that outside, and I am going to leave that again for another hour or so. So it's now a couple of hours later. We're just going to remove this film sheet. Just a reminder that we've only done a spot repair this time. And just give that a wipe just to see what we're left with. So it's this inside that circle there. You can see it looks like a film. We're just going to use the blade to remove that now, and hopefully So what I've done now is I've just dabbed the resin on, literally by hand. So you can see in this murky area here on the screen, and that does seem to have filled in the problem with the laminate at the top of the windscreen. So we'll see how that dries off, and then we'll shave that off as well, and then we'll see how we're looking. That's looking much better now. And start to remove that excess again using the blade at 90 degrees. And again, we're just going to clean that up, see what we're left with. So this is what we're left with now. You can just see that blemish there inside that circle, just by my nail. Difficult to get the camera to focus on that now. It's actually trying to focus on the dash behind, whereas before it was quite easy to get it to focus. It has filled. It is completely smooth now. I can't feel it at all with my nail. Nothing at all. But there is a very slight difference in colour. I'm wondering if this is because I've got a slightly tinted windscreen. So I'm just going to run over it with some glass polish, and we'll see whether we can just sort it out with the polish or not. So the weapon of choice here is the ShineMate 803. It's a mini rotary polisher. I've used a wool cutting pad and just some automotive glass polish. So after everything we've done, I am going to leave it there. This blemish here is what we're left with. You can just see that. This is probably the best angle I could get. See, look, it completely disappears there. I think the reason that it is still not 100% perfect, I mean it's 95% there, but I think the reason it's not completely perfect is because that this screen has some sort of top coat, laminate coat on there that's slightly darker than the resin that came in the pack. But what can I say, for £8 it was a good buy. Definitely not the 10 minutes on the packet though, which it said it would take. This has probably taken a good 4 or 5 hours in total. If this helped you out, drop me a thumbs up. Always subscribe for more things and reviews coming soon. Catch you later. Bye.